Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for another Battlefront 2 tips video. In this video I'm going to be going over the strengths and weaknesses of Anakin Skywalker. If you saw my earlier video on Luke, then hey, welcome back. And yeah, if you like the tips in this video, then just give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the tips in this video, give me a thumbs down and comment why you didn't like it. That's all good. And bear in mind that just like the Luke video and any future videos I do in this series, I'm not taking star cards into account whatsoever. And yeah, let's get right into it. So Anakin's ability combo is easily one of his biggest strengths. Pull, then heroic might before your enemy can get up. Do one strike and then a passionate strike, or even two basic attacks, and you've just dealt well over 400 damage, and that's without any star cards whatsoever, and not even taking back attacks into account either. Anakin, his ability combo is the best one on the light side, easily. Luke, Obi-Wan and Yoda all have pushes, which means they can't really combo at all. Rey, she has a devastating combo as well, I'll give her that, but it requires your enemy to actually attack you before you can do it, whereas Anakin can just pull someone who's completely unaware of his presence, or they're just not blocking, and then he can start his combo from a distance. Rey cannot. So make sure to always use the ability combo as Anakin. It's one of the best things about him, and boy is it satisfying to do, and so insanely consistent as well. Now, we've already touched on Anakin's ability combo, but I feel like I wouldn't be doing his abilities justice without talking about his pull dominance specifically. Anakin's pull, it's easily a Vader choke level of an ability, if not better. It's good for so many reasons. It allows you to catch a fleeing villain before they cover too much ground. It allows you to pull a pesky Boba Fett out of the sky. It allows you to pull a blaster hero to your feet. And it allows you to pull groups of troopers towards you rather than letting them shoot you from range. All of these things obviously allow you to deal damage, and if you have your heroic might, you can do the combo. If not, you can punish with basics or launch a passionate strike or retribution if you have them available. But Anakin's pull, man, is it a good ability. It's so good. Another one of Anakin's strengths, and again this is another one of his abilities, is his retribution. Retribution deals a lot of damage to infantry, about 300, and it deals 225 to heroes. It will kill any of the trooper classes, and it can finish reinforcements off incredibly quickly. Retribution, one basic attack, boom, they just met their maker. And so that's very powerful. Not to mention Anakin has 90% damage reduction while he's doing it, and although it does leave slightly early, it means you're way less exposed than some other heroes are when they do their abilities. So it's well worth the telegraphed animation and the damage reduction leaving early, just to one-shot pretty much everyone around you if you're in co-op or in any of the large modes. And villains can be quite severely weakened. Retribution and then one basic attack is going to have basically everybody limping. I need to dedicate some time to Anakin's passionate strike. While it may not be as good as his retribution, it's a heavily underrated and a super good finishing move, especially if you're in HVV or Hero Showdown and someone is panicking and spam blocking and dodging. You can wait until they've dodged, then use a passionate strike. Passionate strike has a lock-on system, and it also bypasses their block, so yeah, pretty much a guaranteed kill, unless the hit registration bugs out or they miraculously have an ability ready. But yeah, it's still a very good finishing move, or at the end of a combo. Now we get onto Anakin's more modest strengths. Strengths that, you know, are not huge, but they're still there. And the first one of those is his stamina. Anakin's stamina is thought to be awful, but hey, the official stats disagree. Anakin can attack 12 times, which is the best offensive stamina on the light side. And he can also deflect approximately 1400 damage of blasters, or around 33 shots from an average gun, and 10 saber strikes. His combined deflection stamina exceeds that of Luke and Rey on the light side, and it also exceeds every dark side saber user except for Vader. Now what are you going to say, Anakin haters? Another one of Anakin's strengths is his basic attack. Not the swing speed, which we'll get onto later, but the damage. Like, Anakin's basic attack deals average damage from the front at 130, or rather very slightly above average, and then from the rear he deals 170 damage, which is the highest of any lightsaber hero in the game, light side and dark, not counting Dooku's duelist of course, and definitely above average. Again, this is a fairly modest strength, so I'm not spending a ton of time on this, but yeah, you go for those rear hits, you're going to be leaving people limping quite quickly. Now, while Anakin does have several massive strengths and he's an extremely powerful character, and even more so with cards, he does have some weaknesses as well, and one of his biggest weaknesses is a lack of an evasive ability. Anakin has no ability that allows him to run away from a situation, unlike everyone else on the light side. Obi-Wan has his push, which knocks enemies far enough away and it allows him to escape. His defensive rush can also double as an evasive ability, especially against lightsabers. Rey has her dash strike, which can double as both an offensive and evasive ability. Yoda has his dash and Luke has his rush. Anakin, he's got nothing. The heroic might and retribution barely knock enemies away, which is really handy when you have the upper hand and you want to combo on people, but when you're limping yourself, it just does you a disservice, as they're going to be able to recover extremely quickly, and they're probably going to be able to catch up with you if they use lunges. So that is a weakness of Anakin's. He's extremely powerful, but his lack of evasion, it definitely hurts him. Anakin also has a lack of mobile abilities. What I mean is that he's the only hero on the light side who doesn't have an ability he can use while he is moving. You know, Yoda and Luke have their respective rushes, Rey has her dash and her insight, Obi-Wan can use his defensive rush while he's moving. Anakin, though, every single one of his abilities requires him to stop completely dead in his tracks, which enables people to punish you, get behind you, etc. So just be a bit careful. Another one of Anakin's weaknesses is his pull dominance. Now, yes, this is an extreme strength if you know how to use it, but it can also be a very big weakness. You see, Anakin's pull dominance is one of the most telegraphed abilities in the game, meaning this ability is extremely useful against casual players no matter their character choice, but against experienced players who have their wits about them, landing a clean pull combo has its difficulties because the pull is pretty slow to activate. Not to mention, this can be true especially against blaster heroes who know how to time their rolls, as he gets absolutely no damage reduction whatsoever, and he can be pretty much completely shredded by a blaster hero who can aim, a saber hero who's up close and double parries, or anyone who's really just ready to punish him. You're best off using his pull as an ambush ability, pulling people who are completely unaware of your presence, because if you are in a 1v1 situation, say, and you try to pull someone, well, in a 1v1 where people are aware of your presence constantly, then it's going to be fairly difficult to land a clean pull. And just keep that in mind. It's very, very telegraphed. You need to be careful of it. Now, his heroic might is probably his weakest ability, at least in my opinion. Let me know if you disagree, because it grants Anakin 90% damage reduction, but the thing is, the damage reduction leaves early, and even earlier than Retribution, and Heroic Might doesn't deal with the damage that Retribution does. And yes, remember, I'm not taking raw strength into account for this video, and without raw strength, Heroic Might, well, it's kind of mediocre. On its own, it isn't really going to do much. It only deals 90 damage, and again, although it does give you generous damage reduction, it's the damage reduction leaves early, it can be punished, and honestly, Heroic Might on its own, just as a base ability, without star cards, it works best while it's part of a pull combo. As that, it's fine. On its own, though, it can be a little mediocre, and the damage reduction leaves early, plus the animation is telegraphed. Just be careful at that. Another one of Anakin's slight weaknesses is Passionate Strike, and well, it's just quite slight, but if you use it on full health against an enemy who's also on full health, they'll spam you and you can be hit twice, so just be aware Passionate Strike leaves you a little vulnerable. Honestly, though, it's nowhere near as bad as his pull on Heroic Might, but it can be punished, so just keep that in mind. Another weakness Anakin has, which many people don't really seem to bring up, is his swing speed. If you didn't know, Anakin's swing speed is pretty slow. How slow? Well, let's just say that every single villain, with the exception of General Grievous, is going to be able to comfortably outswing you in terms of average lunge and standing swing speed. Especially his lunges. One of his lunges is kind of slow, but one of them is incredibly slow. It's an elegant ballerina spin move. And if he decides to do this move, then people are most likely going to get away, and you probably won't get in the intended 1 or 2 hits you want to punish. Anakin's telegraphed swing speed also makes him vulnerable to fast characters like Maul, Vader, Dooku, Kylo Ren, just about any of the villains who can outspam him, outswing him in a spamming contest, and then he'll probably die. So if you're Anakin, do not engage in a spamming contest with a villain. Even if they have a little less health, they probably will win. This means that Anakin can be rather reliant on his abilities to get things done. If he doesn't have any of his abilities, then, well, he's got his decent stamina, yes, but he's only got a slowish swing speed to help him, and he's not very mobile either. So without his abilities, Anakin can be outmaneuvered or overrun a little, so make sure to save your abilities for when you're out of stamina, at least one of them, so you aren't completely a sitting duck while your abilities are on recharge. Just mastering general movement also helps as well, though. Anyways, this has been a really long one, but Anakin, he's a very good character. It may sound like he has more weaknesses than strengths, but his strengths are far bigger than his weaknesses, I assure you that. The telegraphed animation of pull dominance is well worth it most of the time when you gank teams in HVV and they're completely unaware of your presence. Obviously, paired up with the right cards, which I didn't take into account for this video, it just gets horrifyingly OP. And if you want to see a video on Anakin's best card setup, then please let me know in the comment section. And if you sat all the way through to the end, then you're a real one, and I love you for it. Anyway, Anakin is kind of a no-skill character. I won't lie, he's easily one of the most noob-friendly characters in the game. He's one of the characters who takes the least skill to learn, the least skill to master. Again, just go behind teams, pull, heroic might, swing, perhaps a passionate strike, clean up with a retribution if you have it, if need be. Anyway, it's just, he is kind of no skill, I won't lie, but that doesn't mean you can't improve with him. You obviously can. He's incredibly powerful. He's severely underrated these days as well. People say he's bad after his nerfs and his stamina's bad. It's not. He has some other weaknesses, but his stamina's not one of them. Anyway, sorry for the ramble, but if you like this video, like and subscribe and comment, and peace out.